Hi, I'm Katherine Hayhoe, a climate scientist and someone who gets a lot of hate online. Welcome to Cold Facts Hot Takes, where I take some of the thousands of troll comments that I get online and separate fact from fiction while having a little fun along the way. Today, I will be talking about some of the responses I got to this interview that I did with Dr. Andrea Hinwood, who is the chief scientist for the United Nations Environmental Program. Andrea and I spoke about the bad news about how climate change is impacting every aspect of our lives, but we also spoke about the good news about how action is continuing, exactly what I talk about in my newsletter, Talking Climate. Every week I share good news. Now, this was posted online, and as you can imagine, many people who do not like the United Nations weighed in. We got the standard joke of the day. The UN claiming they are, quote, separating fear from fact regarding climate change. Climate is global and the UN wants a role, even if it means creating hysteria through a deluge of daily misinformation. Note that as scientists, everything we said had a peer-reviewed citation to it. But if people don't like it, they're quick to dismiss it as false. BS hoax, and the herd was and still is so effortlessly convinced. Stop allowing corrupt politicians with ulterior motives and agendas to think for you. Well, neither Andrea nor I are politicians. We are scientists sharing the information, but again, if people don't want to hear it, they will accuse you of something. The climate, quote, crisis narrative keeps UNEP's voluntary donations flowing. Let's count how many false claims there are in this one short post. First of all, the United Nations is not funded by voluntary donations from individual people. And the donations don't depend on whether or not the climate crisis is real, because they do all kinds of environmental issues, like the pollution that is responsible for 1 in 5 premature deaths around the world every year. And then this person goes on to say, past predictions like no Arctic sea ice, gone glaciers, famines failed. No, actually, in terms of global temperature, scientific projections have been right on. In terms of the impacts of that global temperature change on things like famines and ice loss, we've actually underestimated how quickly things are happening. That's right, scientific projections of impacts are actually on the low end of the scale, not the high end. And then they said, quote, faster action equals more grants, reports, and bureaucracy. No, actually, faster action is less bureaucracy and more action. And then they ended with the kicker, CO2 is greening the planet. As a matter of fact, though CO2 does cause plants to grow faster, it is decreasing the nutritional content of many fruits and vegetables, and over 70% of the planet is actually becoming drier rather than wetter. All right, let's see what we have next. Well, given that this was a UN interview, we're actually going to go international with some of the comments. I hope you liked this preview of Cold Takes Hot Facts, and if you would like to see the rest of it, please subscribe to Talking Climate on Substack or Patreon. Link in the description. Now let's get back to it.